Hi, love. Karen Rockkind here, your life purpose coach. I am so glad that you are about to watch this recording of F Midlife, the webinar to take control of your life now. Doing these webinars has been so much fun. Women from all over the world have signed up to say, no more, no more. No more feeling stuck, no more feeling lost. No more allowing the world to define what midlife is going to be for me. Be clear about this. You are strong, you are beautiful, you are bold, you have the opportunity to fulfill your dreams now because of how much you have lived, because you have wisdom, because your life has given you strength and courage. And that is what this webinar is all about. Throughout the next 90 minutes, you are going to learn and get clear about why you have been feeling what you've been feeling. So whether for you that's feeling lost or stuck or like something's missing or just bad about yourself, you're going to begin to uncover what it is that's really in your heart, what it is that your heart and soul desires. We're also going to talk about what's been really holding you back, what's really holding you back. And then at the end, I'm going to give you tools for how you can take a step right now toward creating the life, taking control of the life and creating it now. You want to make sure that you stay until the very end because I am announcing a new opportunity for you to get amazing support, mentorship from me, support from experts, a community of women like you, and so much fun stuff like this t-shirt. So if you want to know how to get this t-shirt, stay tuned until the end and you will be amazed and be joining a sisterhood of women around the world who are saying yes to themselves and bye to that old midlife, F-U, midlife stereotype. I'm redefining it on my terms. So I'm so excited you're here. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoy. And as always, please stay in touch with me, Karen@KarenRockkind.com. Enjoy. Bye for now. Hello. It's Karen Rockkind, your life purpose coach. I am so excited you're here. Welcome to the F Midlife call. This is a great time, if you have not already done so, to grab a cup of tea, to get a glass of water, or maybe you prefer a glass of wine, or you can bop around with me and dance as we wait to get started here. I also always love to light a candle as I get started with a webinar, with any sort of self-work, so that I really create an atmosphere and an environment that is nourishing and feels really good. So make sure you take this time to grab yourself a nice drink and grab yourself a candle, and also make sure that you have your journal. So make sure you have a journal or something to write on and a pen, something so you can take notes, because you'll want to be taking notes throughout this webinar. Great. So welcome. I am Karen Rockkind, empowerment coach and Sirius XM happiness guru on Stars Radio. And I am so happy to be with you tonight. This call, this F Midlife call, is all about saying goodbye, saying no thank you, saying I don't want it, to whatever the old stereotypes are about us women in our 40s or 50s, or maybe you're in your 30s and you're like at that third life kind of place, right? This is really all about you saying, us together saying no, right? And saying, F you midlife old stereotypes. I'm not going to live by that. I'm going to take control of my life now. I'm going to choose to make these the best years of my life. I'm going to choose to uncover, get clear on what those dreams are in my heart. I'm going to choose to feel sexy in my body now. I'm going to choose good health and really treating my body like a temple. I'm going to choose, right? I'm going to choose, just like you've chosen to give yourself this gift of these 90 minutes together. right? I know that you have other things to do. I know that you've got a million people who want your time, and you've chosen to take this time to be your best self, this time to really do the inner work of getting to know who you are and what you want and what it is that you want for this time in your life, this midlife time. Right? You've taken care of everyone else. You've had a million responsibilities and you've done a bang up amazing job. And you get to choose now. You get to choose. It's your time. And I know this so well. This is so near and dear to my heart because I have had to choose myself, right? I've had to choose over and over and over again to not let the circumstances of my life hold me down, whether that was divorce or that was in high school being abused or that was being robbed at gunpoint. It's like, no, like every circumstance of your life, and I'm not special or different. You have this ability to, and every single one of us can choose every single day to say, today I'm going to take control of my life now. And so welcome to the F Midlife Call. Take control of your life now. So this topic of midlife is so near and dear to my heart. When I turned 40 2 years ago, 5 different women emailed me, women who I hadn't talked to since I was a girl. So one woman who I had known in the sorority, and she was getting a divorce, and she's like, I don't know who I am anymore. I had this identity, like I knew who I was, and now I don't even know, right? Who am I without that? And then another woman who emailed me or sent me a note on Facebook, she was a friend from summer camp when we were kids, and she said almost the opposite, like, I have the perfect life. I have been really successful in my career, and I've got, a great husband, and he's successful in his career, and I have 3 healthy children, and it just feels like something's missing. And she wrote to me like, I feel so guilty for saying something's missing. Like, what's wrong with me? Like, I should just be grateful for what I have. And I so recognize like each of their stories because I've been through it and I went through it myself when I was in my 30s. Like I so recognized this is the midlife crisis, right? This is that time. And we are so filled with so many stereotypes, like magazines and media and cosmetics companies telling us like who we're supposed to be and we're not good enough and you're old and washed up and, even just the word midlife and running out of time. Like you turn 40 and you go into the party goods store and everything's like over the hill, right? Like I remember when I was 10 and my dad was turning 40, we got him this cake. And it was like a brown cake in the shape of a mountain. And then there was like this frosting man that was like dripped over or bent over the side of the cake. And then there were like these frosting, trees and stuff and a big thing that said over the hill. And I was 10 years old and I had no idea what it meant, but everybody laughed and thought it was hilarious, right? Because now my dad was over the hill, like as if we are going up and up and up and up the hill, like we're doing great, we're climbing, we're growing, we're evolving, we're changing, we're doing awesome. And then all of a sudden, like we reach what, like 40, or maybe for you, you're feeling like that at 50, or for you, you're feeling like that at 30, and then like, boop, and then it declines. And we've created this idea in our society that that is how it's supposed to be, when actually every bit of research said that is not how it's supposed to be. That actually, if you take good care of your health, you're actually supposed to, yes, climb up this hill, and then we're actually supposed to kind of like just do well walking up on the hill for many years until the end of our life, and then have a rapid decline. But that's taking care of our body. That's ensuring that we're feeling vibrant and fulfilled and alive and filling our lives with activities that just get our juices going and make us feel yummy and make us feel good, and filling our lives with people who make us feel good. Feeling sexy, right? We're not dead. We're freaking 40, or maybe you're 35, or maybe you're 52. Like we're not dead. We're in the prime of our life. Like we get to choose now. But those old stereotypes that tell us who we're supposed to be and what we're supposed to be are just making us feel like we're not enough, right? Like I know I go through times where I feel like I'm not enough, not good enough or pretty enough or thin enough or successful enough. So when I got these emails from these women, I recognized it. Because in my mid-30s, I went through the exact same thing. I had been divorced younger in life, in my late 20s, and had left that marriage so that I could figure out what is happiness to me. And even though I did, I went through all the things of trying to really figure out what juices me up, what gets me excited. And it was this, it was empowering women. I knew that. I figured it out through becoming a youth group advisor and starting to chat online with other women who are divorced. And so it's a long process, but I figured out like, this is who I am. And this is what I love to teach women, is how to like uncover your purpose. And then I reached my 30s and I was too afraid to go follow my dreams. And so I just chose to end up in relationships that were just like my marriage, with guys that were just like my marriage. It's like I like to say, same guy, different golf shirt, like, and not that I have anything against golf shirts if you or your partner are into golf shirts. It's just that I ended up in my mid-30s having that crisis. And I made myself so sick with feeling not enough, so sick feeling less than, and that emptiness. Like I felt like I had a hole inside of me, like something was so missing, but literally it was like a burning hole in my gut, and my throat felt totally closed up, like there was something that wanted to come out. And I made myself so sick that I got shingles at 34. And I was a marathon runner. Like healthy marathon runners, healthy people in their 30s do not get shingles. That is an immune disease. Like that is when you're older or severely stressed out. So that was like a wake-up call. Like, oh my God, I'm getting shingles at 34? And then on top of it, I was extremely depressed. I made myself so depressed, feeling so lost and unfulfilled, and holding myself back from dreams and telling myself I couldn't or I shouldn't. And that I didn't know what I wanted, even though I had already figured out what I wanted. I just made myself so sick. I ended up so severely depressed that I was going to a psychiatrist, and every month I would beg her for more medication. I would say, it's not working, I need more. Until I finally walked into her office and I said, I think I'm bipolar. Not that there's anything wrong with being bipolar, but she said to me, no, you're not. No, you're not. You have dreams in your heart. You talk about wanting a life where you feel fulfilled and free. You're in control of that. You need to go do it. And so I recognized when those women emailed me at 40, I recognized what they were going through, and that's that emptiness, and maybe some of you, I love hearing from you. Maybe some of you have that emptiness inside, or you feel like something's missing, or like you feel lost, like in everyone else's priorities and taking care of everyone else, whether that everyone else is your boss or your parents or your kids, and making lunches and soccer practice and maybe all of the above, right? But we give and we give and we try so hard to please everybody that when you feel like you're lost, that's when you end up in that like crisis, right? The midlife crisis. It's like you're on the cake, right? Like, oh, decline now, that cake that we got my dad. And what I have learned through all of this, because then I started like obsessing about midlife. I became so into midlife because I'm like, no, we can see midlife differently. And I started doing all this research. I started looking at what is making women so depressed. What do we see as midlife? What is different for us than for men? And so I came to realize that we have a choice, and we can see midlife as a crisis or as a catalyst. And if you see it as a crisis, that's the depression, that's the loss, that's the forget it, I'm out of time. What's the point of learning piano now? What's the point? I'm old. Or what's the point? I can't go and write the book I've always wanted to write because no one will read it, or I won't make any money, or like what, so it's like, that's when we have the crisis. Or you can see it as a catalyst. You can see it as a catalyst to uncover those dreams that have been buried in your heart. You can see it as a catalyst to choose right? To choose that you're going to learn and understand and get curious about yourself, to know what is going to make you happy, that you're going to choose to take care of your body, you're going to choose to feel sexy. Like, yes, we have wrinkles now and we have bellies and like, good, right? Like all these people want to sell us all this crap, Botox and everything else, saying that that's going to make us happier. And you know what? It'll make you happier for a little amount of time until it wears off, right? So it's like, yes, our bodies are changing, and we can use this as a catalyst to say, I'm going to love my body, because you know what? At our age, we have lived. We have lived through a lot. You have lived through a lot. And because you have lived and survived and thrived, or maybe you're waiting to thrive, but you've survived a lot, that gives you strength, that gives you courage. And it's that strength and that courage that makes you sexier than you were at 21. It's that strength and that courage that allows you and will empower you to be bold. It's that strength and that courage and that you have lived, that you are now wise and you have wisdom to share. You can use all of that as a catalyst to live an empowered and fulfilled life. You get to say goodbye to the old stereotypes and to the lost feeling and to the missing and to the shoulds and to the guilt. And we're gonna talk about all that. And you get to say, hello, like, I love you. I love you, my age, because I love you, life. You get to say, I love you, to creating your own definition, to redefining midlife on your terms. And something tells me this is a very hot topic. When the word F midlife came to me, like, boom, it was like a firework that went off in my whole body. I was like electrified. I'm like, oh my God, this is something like F midlife. And even though a friend of mine is like, oh, no one our age wants to be called midlife, I'm like, no, so there's something in there about the F midlife. And so I announced this call on the radio one day, and I thought, oh, like maybe I get like 30 women, and we'll have a great call, and it will be fun. But I had 30 women sign up in the first 3 minutes that I announced it on the radio. 30 in 3 minutes. And by now, I've had over 300 women sign up for this call, either to be on it live, to get the recording. And what that tells me is that we are all hungry. We're hungry for a new definition of midlife. We're hungry to feel good again. We're hungry to feel great. We're hungry to take control of our lives and make these our best years. This our best time. This our chance. And I don't know about you guys, but I often feel alone in this, right? Like, no one would possibly understand why I was depressed. Like, when I was so depressed, I had a VP title. I was making great 6-figure salary. I owned a house. I owned a boat. I was like, no one would understand why I was depressed. I seemed to have it all. Or even in my 20s when I was married to tall, good-looking, lawyer, husband, I was sure no one would understand. And so, I don't know about you guys, but sometimes it feels very lonely. Like, I look around and it seems like, oh, she has it all together. Everyone else has their lives together. Like, no one could possibly get this. But 300 women signing up in 2 weeks for this call says that you are not alone. It says that I'm not alone, that we are not alone. It says that we are hungry for a sisterhood. We're hungry for someone who gets it, and we're hungry to create life on our terms and to change this now for ourselves. So kudos to you. Kudos for being on this call. You have given yourself a gift by taking this time, these 90 minutes to be together. You've chosen, right, these 90 minutes for your soul, for yourself, to take care of yourself. And that is critical. That is critical. That is the number one thing. We're going to talk about this toward the end of the call, that is the number one thing. The choice and commitment to take care of yourself, choice and commitment to give yourself the gift of soul work, of expansion, of growth. Right? What happens is that you give and you give and you give. We all do. We give and we give. We give to others all day long. We're trying to please, please, please. And then we're like a car that's running out of gas, right? And you're like running on fumes until you stop. Like, the car will stop if you don't fill it with gas. And the same is true for you. The stop for us is that depression. The stop for us is the feeling lost, the feeling like something is missing. That's where the stop is. And so you have given yourself this gift tonight of refueling. You've given yourself the gift of like putting gas in your own car, getting back energy, getting back some of your soul. Because what you want to do is, instead of giving from the fumes, right? I don't know about you, but when I am totally depleted and I've just given and given and given, and I keep giving, that is when I become resentful and bitter, and to be honest, a bitch. I am so bitchy when I'm giving from the reserves, when I'm giving from nothing. But when I refuel, when I spend time in my sisterhood, I have a group of women and we get together twice a month. When I spend time in my sisterhood, I refuel. When I spend time and I take courses, like I just signed up for a retreat coming up in a few weeks, and I signed up for a 5-day intensive with one of my favorite researchers coming up in December. So when I refuel, then I'm like filling up, right? I'm filling my positivity tank, and then I'm giving from the overflow, right? Then things don't bother me as much. Then I'm not as temperamental, I'm not as bitchy, and I'm nice. I want to give because I'm filled up. You have to give from the overflow. You have to give from the overflow, and you have to replenish your supply of love and nourishment. And so kudos to you. You have given yourself this time to do that, and that is so important. Filling yourself up first. It's like the airplane where you put your own mask on first. That is not what so many women are doing. So giving yourself the gift, filling up, giving yourself the gift of regular time, like doing more webinars like this, doing the kinds of things I mentioned that I'm doing, that is how you fill up. Self-care, really taking care of yourself, that's how you fill up, and then you will have more to give, and you'll enjoy giving. So today we are going to cover it. Today is all about how do we keep that feeling going? How do we get more of this feeling? How do we take control of our lives? So this is what we're going to cover. We're going to cover the number one thing that's holding you back, and it's probably not what you think. We're going to uncover your true desires and really talk about how you get to underneath to some of those forgotten dreams. We're going to talk about how you turn every regret and shame and comparison and fear into fuel forward. Like, I don't know about you guys, but I have had a lot of regret and a lot of shame and a lot of comparison in my life. And I still have it. And I constantly need to learn, when I feel that regret, use it as information that can become fuel for what I want to do forward. Or when I find myself comparing myself to someone else, pull it up and say, what does this tell me about myself, and use it for fuel forward. So we're going to talk about that, and then we're going to talk about how to create a path of fulfillment forward. So who's ready? Who's ready? Okay. First, what I want to do is I want to open with a meditation, and I start all my calls with a meditation. And the reason I do that is that it slows us down. It will slow you down and allow you to be here. Here, right now. Be present. In every other moment of the day, 1 million people want your attention. Right? So you give and you give, and then your brain goes 1,000,000 miles an hour, thinking about what you have to do next, who you have to pick up, what you have to get at the grocery store, or what you didn't do. Why did you say that in a meeting? How could I have done that? Why did she do that? Why did he do that? I'm so angry at this person for that. And the brain goes and goes. And we literally have to learn how to shut off our brains, shut off the mind chatter, so that you can open up your heart and open up your soul. So we're just going to take a few minutes here, and we're going to do a short meditation. And I want to invite you, I'm going to do it with you. A lot of people tell me that they can't meditate because they can't keep their mind quiet for a few minutes. And it's like, yeah, that's why we have to do it. But I like to do guided meditation. So if you just listen to my words, I'll be talking the whole time. It will allow your mind to open, and your heart to open, and your body to relax. So go ahead and get comfortable in your seat. Feel yourself sitting back against the chair or the bed or the couch, wherever you are. And really feel yourself sink into those pillows behind you or to the back of the chair, feeling that support against your back, knowing that you are supported in this moment and in all moments, that you are being taken care of right now. Now I want you to focus your attention on your tush, where the bottom of your seat hits the chair, hits the bed. And I want you to feel how literally you are being uplifted in this moment. You are being held and uplifted off the ground. And let that be a reminder that you are being held and uplifted in this moment and in all moments. This is a safe place for you to come back to. Now I want you to place your hands gently on your lap and feel your feet firmly on the floor. If you're comfortable doing so, go ahead and gently close your eyes if you haven't yet done so. And if you're not comfortable doing so, or you're not in a place where you can do so, then simply gently gaze ahead, focusing on one point in front of you, softly with your eyes. Feeling your feet now ground into the floorboards below you. Together, let's take 3 deep breaths. Inhale in through your nose, filling up your belly and your lungs with fresh, cool, clean air of hope and possibility, and exhale out of your mouth. Really exhale loudly, release, let go of any tension, any stress. Just let it all go. Another deep inhale in through your nose, filling up your veins and your arteries with the hope of newness and freshness and possibility, truth, and exhale out of your mouth. Letting go of anything from the day, letting go of anything that no longer serves you. Just let it all go and relax. One more deep inhale in through your nose. Now feeling every cell in your body expand with goodness, expand with hope, expand with inspiration, and hold your breath so that you literally can feel your whole body, your lungs, your belly, your veins, your arteries, every cell expanding with truth of goodness and hope. And now exhale out of your mouth. Relaxing into this moment, relaxing into this space. Just let it all go out your tiptoes. Allowing your breath to return to a resting pace, whatever is comfortable for you. On your next inhale, say to yourself, I am here. And then on your next inhale, I am here now. Repeat that once more to yourself, I am here. I am here now. I ask you now to focus your attention on your mind, your beautiful mind that's always filled with so many ideas and chatter and regrets and shoulds and need tos. And I want you to imagine that you see all of that chatter as if it is graffiti on a wall, and you are stepping back, looking at all that chatter, all that graffiti, all that chaos, knowing that you are not your thoughts. Every thought you have is temporary and is only there to keep you safe, only there built of a very old pattern developed in childhood or some earlier time, and most of it is not true or needed. And so stepping back from your thoughts and imagining that it is active, dynamic graffiti on a big, big, big chalkboard, on a big wall. On your next exhale, I invite you to imagine that little white birds are coming into the picture now, and they take each word off of the wall one by one by one, and they fly away so that the board is now clear and empty, and your mind is open and relaxed. I invite you now to focus your attention on your heart, your beautiful heart that's filled with so many people. 2-legged people, 4-legged animals, plants, the earth. Bring to mind someone or something that you deeply love right now. And bring that now into your heart, feeling your heart expand with love. Feel your whole body expand with love. Now focus your attention on the bottom of your feet and feel yourself ground into the floorboards below you. Literally ground in as if you are becoming one with the floorboards, as if your feet are literally grounding into the foundation of the building below you, as if your feet are now grounding into the dirt of the earth itself. Grounding in, you are so grounded, so centered into the layers of rock and lava and dirt, into the core of the earth, until you feel yourself literally touching the core of the earth. And as your feet touch the core of the earth, from your truth, your essence, your purpose, you as a vibrant, beautiful, bold, courageous, sexy woman, the core of the earth begins to light up, bright white light that is now radiating from the core of the earth. And that white light, so vibrant, so gorgeous, begins to come back up through the layers of rock and lava, back up through the earth, back up through the grass, back up through the foundation of the building, and back up through the floorboards. And that white light is now coming back up into your body. White light now inside of your feet and surrounding your toes and your feet and your ankles. White light surrounding your calves and your knees and your thighs, your buttocks. White light around your pelvic area. White light around your belly and your lower back and your torso. White light around your middle back, upper back. Your white light around your chest and your shoulders. White light around your left arm and left fingers. White light around your right arm and right fingers. White light around your neck, your chin, your cheeks, smiling. White light now beaming at the top of your head. You are this light. You are this woman who is ready to radiate and shine. You are her and she is you. May you shine brightly. And so it is. Take one more deep inhale in through your nose. Exhaling out, wiggling your fingers and toes and gently opening your eyes as you come back into this space. Welcome back, my loves. Welcome back. So I mentioned that when I turned 40, I'll give you a minute to come back. I'll take a sip of tea. I mentioned that when I turned 40, I became obsessed with this idea of midlife and how we could redefine it on our own terms. Because I had gotten those calls from those women, from my sorority sister getting a divorce and from the friend from summer camp who had this perfect life but felt empty and felt guilty for feeling empty. And I got another call from a woman who I knew as children when we were kids, and she was telling me how her only child is now 15 and was about to go, is soon going to be out of the house, right? And her 15-year-old didn't as much want as much mom time. She wanted to do her own thing. And she was like, oh my God, now what's my life going to be about? Because she's leaving. She's going to go off to college and do her thing. What am I going to do then? Who am I then? I got another call from a woman who I also knew in college, and she was married and had 2 twin babies. And she also had just turned 40. I was so unhappy. And she just felt so lost, and then felt badly for feeling lost because she loved her babies. So I kept getting all these calls, and I so resonated. Like I said, I so understood it. And I really felt like there's something we can do about this. We can really learn what it is that we need, and we can speak it and we can live it. We can take control of our life now. So I want to ask you, what made you come on this call? What made you come on this call? And take a moment in your journal and write that out to yourself. What made you come on this call? Someone who had been on one of my prior F Midlife calls had written that she came on the call because she just wasn't feeling enough. Just not enough. Like everyone else seemed to have it together and she just wasn't enough. And someone else came on the call and said, similar to one of the women I mentioned, and said, my kids are out of the house. I don't even know what to do with myself now. And someone else came on the call, another of the F Midlife calls I did, and said, I recently lost my job, and I feel like because of that, like I'm supposed to now, or I want to, I shouldn't say supposed to, this is like a time for me to figure out what I actually want, right? I like not just to go out to get the exact same job again, but to really step back and figure out what is it that I want. And someone else on the call had talked about getting married and suddenly losing herself. And so how does she do that? So what is it for you that made you come on? That made you come on? Go ahead and write that down. And as you do, I want to share. So doing all this research on midlife, here's what I found. The biggest challenge, the three biggest issues facing women our age. Number one, our bodies are changing, right? Like our hormones are all different. We're starting to get wrinkles. I totally am. You know, bellies, those of you who have given birth, right? Like that belly is like a sacred area, right? We're starting to have stomach issues. Like I totally have way more stomach issues than I used to. The magazines and the cosmetics companies are telling us, you're not pretty anymore. You need to try to look younger. Use this cream, use that cream, get Botox, get this, right? And it's like, we don't even know. Like they're telling us you're too fat, you're not desirable anymore, you're not pretty enough, and we're sitting there and we're watching like Real Housewives and like feeling like we're not pretty enough, right? Because we're watching all these people on TV who do not have real faces for the most part, right? Like they've done work and good for them if that's what they want to do. But, you know, we're comparing ourselves to like actors and actresses and models who totally, they do work on themselves, like plastic surgery. And so we're just feeling less than and less than and less than. And that, along with other factors, are leading to the second biggest issue facing women at midlife, which is depression. So women in their 40s and 50s have the highest rate of suicide, according to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. Women in our 40s and 50s have the highest rate, we're at the highest risk of depression of any other group. Highest rate of depression, women 40s and 50s. And already women are twice as likely to be depressed as men. And at our age, it's skyrocket, right? And for the first time in history, a study from the University of Pennsylvania a couple of years ago showed that women are less happy than men. So even though we had always been twice as likely to say we were depressed, we also were always saying that we were happier. For the first time in history, we are now saying that we're not as happy. And even more so, that same research study looked at the same happiness index that was taken 30 years ago. And for the first time in history, we are less happy than our counterparts were 30 years ago. Less happy. And one of the reasons for that is that we have so much choice, right? Like you can do anything. There's so many things you can do. You can be whatever you want to be. And we were all like, some of us were told that, some weren't. And it's wonderful and amazing, but like there's so much choice. And for many of you, you have biologically you want to, have kids and have a career. And it's like, oh my, it's too much, right? And we don't want to trade places with the women 30 years ago because they didn't have as much choice as we have. But it's also really leading to a lot of depression, right? Because we get lost in everyone else's needs, and it's so hard to figure out what your own needs are, right? So the common things that you end up saying to yourself are, I feel like I should have done more by now, or my college roommate has achieved so much more than I have, or I'm bored, I'm stuck, I've lost me. And I so get this. Like I said, I went through this when I was in my 30s, and it was so this like crisis of who am I? Who am I? And I was sick. I made myself sick because of it, with the shingles and the depression. And then because I felt so bad, I don't know about you, what you do, but I felt so bad. Then what did I do? I isolated. I totally would stay home instead of seeing friends. I did not call friends back, right? I don't know about you, but when I don't feel good, I don't call people back, right? Like I take my time. And so that's what we're doing. That's what we're doing. What the doctors are saying is the number one mistake that women in their 40s are making is that we are isolating and we're not connected. We're not getting help. We're not connecting with other women. We pull away. right? And like maybe for you, you don't have any women that you can really connect with, any women who you can really connect with, who you feel like will be real and will be honest, that sometimes they feel like their kids are driving them nuts, or that they feel depressed, or that they want more, or they feel guilty, right? We're not spending as much time with friends as we used to, right? Or maybe with your old group of friends, you feel like you've got to act like you have it all together, and like, you know, you can't be real, right? Like everyone on Facebook is posting that they've got these perfect families and perfect vacations, and I do too. We all do. And the truth is that we also all have real hearts going on, and we have the other half of reality. And so what the scientists are saying is that the number one mistake that women are making in this time of more depression and feeling empty and feeling like they're in that crisis spot is then isolating and becoming then lonely. And loneliness has been found to take as many years off of your life as cigarette smoking. Because what loneliness does is it puts your body in stress mode. We were never meant to be alone. It puts your body in stress mode. Right? We actually needed, if you think about our early ancestors, most people know kind of Darwinism, me against you, who's going to win. But actually, as time went on and we needed to our ancestors needed to fight off big saber-toothed tigers, what actually happened is that people needed to bond together and work together in order to survive. So we literally need people, and we need each other. In fact, we need women. Okay, women need other close women friends. We need a sisterhood. For thousands of years, women gathered together in the tribe and took care of each other, like nursed each other's babies, or fed each other's children, or helped each other with chores, or took care of each other when we were sick or had our period. Like that was how women used to live. So it's literally in our DNA to have that need for connection. And so research actually shows that women who have close women friends live longer and are healthier and are happier. Research also shows that men who are married to women live longer and are healthier. So there's something going on in women. And what I think it is, or what I know it is from science, is that women, we have more oxytocin. It's called the cuddle hormone sometimes, or the love hormone, and it's what we give off when we're breastfeeding. And we have more oxytocin, so it makes us more nurturing, more caring, more cuddly, and we actually need that. And so what happens is we're isolating, we're lonely, right? We're already feeling bad about our bodies. The world is telling us that we're too fat and we're too ugly and we need to do all this change. And then we're more depressed because we're in that crisis. And I'm going to talk about why we feel that crisis. And so we're feeling like we're not good enough. We're feeling like we should have done more. You feel stuck. And then we isolate. So it's like the triple whammy here, right? So then what do you do when you isolate? Well, I don't know about you, but then I go have a glass of wine. Right? And maybe I grab some tortilla chips and guacamole and feel better. And I love me some tortilla chips and guacamole, and I love me some wine, so don't get me wrong. But what's happening is then we're isolating, drinking even more, watching a lot of Real Housewives, which just makes us feel worse, right? Or maybe for you it's not wine. Maybe for you it's food, right? For you, that's how you numb out, is you eat a lot of food that, like chips or ice cream, or something that feels more comforting to you. Or maybe for you it's shopping. Like when you don't feel good, you go hit up DSW on the sales rack and buy a couple pairs of shoes. And it makes you feel better. For any of these things make you feel better for a short amount of time, right? Like my go-to would be wine, and I'll feel good that night when I have a glass of wine. But then if I've had a glass of wine every night for like 3 or 4 nights, then I just feel icky, right? I feel icky in my body. I feel icky about myself. And a friend of mine has a food addiction, right? She does Overeaters Anonymous, and she knows that that's her go-to. That's her go-to when she feels depressed. And so it might feel good in the moment for her to eat, but then later her stomach hurts and she feels bloated and gassy. Or I know someone else who does shopping, right? And it feels so good in the moment, and you're going to love those pairs of shoes for like a week or 2 weeks, maybe even a month. And then they just become another pair of shoes in the closet. Like we're numbing on all of these things, and it's not working. Because all of those are temporary pleasures. Temporary pleasures. And I love temporary pleasures. So I'm not saying to get rid of them. We just need to also balance it out with engagement, with feeling really engaged with our lives, like we're doing things that feel good and matter to us. We need to fill our lives with purpose, with the stuff of dreams, purpose, right? Whether for you, and it doesn't mean that you have to like go quit your job and do this full time, but like things that are meaningful for you. Like it could be with a nonprofit organization, or it could be painting, or it could be writing, even if it's just writing for you, but you're filling your life with things that have deeper meaning. And that's how we become happier. That's how you take control of your life. One of the women, so I have a 4-month mentorship, and it's called Empowered. And this 4-month mentorship, throughout the 4 months, we go so deep into knowing who a woman is and what she's all about and what brings her joy and where her purpose lies and how her wisdom that she wants to share with the world. And we go deep into what the fears are and guilt and shame that's held her back. And we move through this process for her to make new choices and say, wait a minute, all that guilt and shame, like that was mom stuff or dad stuff, and I'm not going to live that way anymore, and so that she can make real change. So I have this 4-month mentorship program, Empowered. And 2 years ago, a woman I was talking to called me about wanting to join the program. When I asked her why she wants to join, she said to me, for her kids. She said she feels guilty doing something for herself, but she also feels like she's just not being the mom that she can be. She was unhappy in her job. She didn't know what else she wanted to do, just unhappy in her marriage. And so I said, well, how do you want your kids to feel about you? Like, what do you want your kids to say about you? And her eyes filled, we were on Skype, and her eyes, these beautiful crystal blue eyes, filled up with tears. And she said, I want them to say, Mom is full of life. Mom is my role model. And now tears started trickling down her cheeks. And I said, so how do they see you now? She said, they see me crying all the time. I go to the bathroom to get away. This is why you must prioritize your own happiness first. So if anyone has said to you that taking care of yourself is selfish, completely the opposite. It's otherish, right? You need to fill up and know who you are and feel good about yourself and take care of yourself and do the self-care, do the self-work, which is what she did. And she discovered that her whole life she had been playing small. She was always the smartest one. She always was brilliant, always wanted to speak up in class, and then was made to feel ashamed for it. So she felt like she had to play small. It was like, no more playing small. Since then, she's gotten a big promotion at work. She went and she got a certification, and now she's doing all this new training at her work, and she's rocking out. And yes, she took time to do that self-work, but her kids got to see her and get to see her thriving. So you have to prioritize your own happiness first. So midlife is all about fulfillment, right? The old stereotype for midlife, the midlife crisis, right, is a man with his new red Corvette and his 30 years younger wife or 20 years younger, new girlfriend or whatever. And it's so outdated. What we do know from the research is that for a man, midlife is more about status and prestige. Have I done well enough, right? Do I feel okay as a man? And from that, needing to provide perspective that, not needing to provide that, manly prestige. That's what it is. For women, what the research shows is it's entirely different. For women, our midlife crisis is all about fulfillment. It's about fulfillment. It's about a quest for identity. Who am I now? Who am I? Not the role of being mom or the role of being manager or the role of being wife, but who am I at my essence? What makes me feel alive? What makes me feel on purpose? What's meaningful to me? So I want you to take a moment and I want you to just think for you, what so far has resonated about this call? Right? Some of the things that we've talked about are the body changes that we're going through and how the world is telling us that we're not pretty enough or good enough or thin enough. We talked about the depression that comes on in our 40s and 50s and how we're feeling now like, it's makes sense tied to what we just talked about, the hormones and feeling like we're not good enough and look good enough. But is for you that feeling, do you resonate with the depression? Do you resonate with the feeling like something's missing? Do you resonate with the feeling of feeling stuck or lost in everyone else's needs? Do you feel like you resonate with that need for fulfillment? And then we talked about the loneliness, right? How we isolate. And so for you, is that something that happens for you? And what does it look like for you? And then we talked about how we might numb out. How we might not numb out, and so that we don't actually have to deal with our real feelings and actually have to deal with and do the beautiful self-work of coming to know who we are as women, as humans, as goddesses on earth. So what is your numbing strategy, right? Like I said, for me, it's my go-to is going to be wine, has been wine. For a friend of mine, it's food. For someone else I know, it's shopping. So what is it for you? What is it for you? On a prior F Midlife call, someone said Nutella. That's their go-to, Nutella, and I totally get it, right? Totally get it. So what is it for you? What are you numbing out on? And then does it resonate for you, this quest for fulfillment, for something deeper? For something deeper, this quest for identity, for feeling aliveness? And if not, what is true for you? What is true for you in your particular circumstance? Another client who did my empowerment program, she was 43 and just lost at work, just lost at work, was with a jerk of a boss and was like not even sure what she wanted to do. She was unhappy in her marriage. She was really close actually to having an affair. But she heard me talk on the radio about midlife and about taking control. And so she called me and she was like, I want to know who I am. Like, I have to do this work now or else I'm totally going to mess up my life. But then again, she was afraid doing the work would mess up her life. But she's like, I can't live this way any longer. And so throughout the 4-month process of really getting to know and get clear on, like getting curious about when she feels lit up and when she feels what her great wisdom is, she realized her purpose. Like she had gained 40 pounds with her second child and hadn't lost it, and then woke up one day and was just like, I'm in control of my life. This is about 2 months before calling me. And she lost the 40 pounds. She wakes up now every day at 5 or 5:30 to work out. This woman is on fire. But she knew it wasn't just about, she thought if she lost the weight, she would suddenly feel better. And she's like, 2 months later, okay, I feel better in my body, but there's something still missing. So we did the work of like, when does she feel lit up? And she realized like, when people are asking me about my weight loss, like I love helping other women figure out and like what is the best food plan for them and to feel good in their body and to light up from the inside out, right? So she ended up going back to school to become a health coach. She started her own business and now she's like coaching women like herself and she loves it. And she said to me recently, like, she got off the call, she was doing a group call, and she got off and she said to me, oh my God, is this how you feel about your clients? Because I freaking love every single one of them. And I was like, yes, that is exactly how I feel. It's how I feel right now on this call with you. Like, I love this. And that's fulfillment, right? That's fulfillment. That's this turning this crisis into fulfillment. Another woman who came on my retreat to Paris, she was 48 and she had been recently divorced. And she'd been married for 20 years. And she said for the entire 20 years, she didn't feel good in that marriage. And she just like didn't know how to get out of it. And she felt like something was wrong with her for wanting to get out of it. And she finally had gotten divorced, but had never done anything for herself. Never. And she felt guilty if she wanted to. She had 2 kids, but they were now like in college or going off to college. And she saw my email about Paris. And she's like, oh my God, yes, I want to do that. And then she started saying to herself, like, who do I think I am just going off to Paris? Like, I can't do that. I've got kids. And even though they were in college, okay, but she was like, I can't do that. And so she didn't do anything about it. And then I sent a second email about Paris. And she was like, oh, it's so calling to me. Like, I so want to do this. But that voice, and maybe you have the same voice that tells you, you can't do that. Who do you think you are to spend money on yourself or whatever it is? So she thought, okay, I'm going to go to Paris, but I'm not going to tell anyone that I'm going. So she didn't tell. She didn't even tell her kids that she was going. And she came on this trip and poof, she broke out of her cell, and now she has traveled more, and she's lost a bunch of weight. And for her, she stopped drinking and stopped doing her own numbing out stuff, and she's exercising regularly, and she's like taking care of herself. And she recently broke up with someone else who just wasn't filling her, and it was hard, and she's lonely, but she's like, no, like, I'm taking control of my life. And that's what's possible for all of us. But I had another woman who called me recently and wanted to work with me. And she said she really, really, really needs to do this work, but she couldn't do it. She said, oh, I can't because I have 2 adult children and I'm helping them financially. So she said, I can't spend any money on myself right now. And I was like, oh my goodness, my love, like, that is so nice and that is so generous and you are so wonderful. But if you give and you give everything to your adult children, like, they're adults, how about teaching them how to make more money right now, or teaching them how to get a side hustle? Because if you just keep giving and giving and giving to them and there's nothing left for you, then what are you really giving them? Like, maybe you're giving them money, but you're not giving them the wholeness and the richness that's possible if you were to really take care of yourself. Right? So it's not my business, and that's fine that she made that choice, but it is all a choice. Make no mistake that it is a choice. It is a choice, and you can make that choice. What it requires is that you really get down to doing the work of working, whether it's working with experts, reading books, but doing the work of getting to know what's in your heart and what you want, right? So on a previous F Midlife call, someone had said, oh, I want to take care of myself, but everyone tells, I feel like I'm not supposed to. Like, I feel guilty if I do it, right? She said, guilt always wins. And maybe you get this one, because I totally get this one. Guilt is so freaking painful, isn't it? Guilt is so painful, but it's a great motivator, right? If you feel guilty for not going to, visit grandma, you're going to go visit her. If you feel guilty for not going to, religious services on a major holiday that you grew up with, you're probably going to do it. So guilt actually has its role in motivating us, but doing something because of guilt does not make you feel good. Does not make you feel good. So it actually is just adding weight and adding stress and adding challenge for you. Rather, you want to do because you want to do. And so what you need to do with guilt, right? If guilt is telling you that you can't do any self-care, that you can't spend time for yourself doing more webinars like this, or taking an hour for yourself every week just to go walk in the park. Like, if guilt is telling you that you can't take time to go see your girlfriends, if guilt is what's telling you, then here's the deal with guilt. So guilt literally means that you've harmed someone, that you've done something wrong, right? Like, if I steal $5 from my sister, I feel guilty because I've harmed her. I've taken something from her. That's what guilt literally means. So you want to think about, if you feel guilty, like right now, about taking this time to watch this, you want to really think about, have I harmed anyone? Am I harming someone if I do this? Like, if you were to take a few hours a month and do webinars like this, or if you were to join a book club, or if you were to do self-work, right, like soul work, would you be harming your children because you were taking a few hours to do that? Taking a few hours to fill up, a few hours to read, a few hours for yourself? Would you be harming your children? The answer is no. The answer is no. What's true is that you actually would be helping them, because you are now going to be more full. You're going to have more to give to them. You're going to have more wisdom to share with them. They're going to see a better role model, right? Like I once was talking to a woman on the radio who said she's always wanted to be a singer, always wanted to be a singer. And then she said to me, but I can't go sing. I have a 13-year-old boy. And I said to her, and what do you tell your son about his dreams? Oh, I tell him he can do anything. He should go for it. He should go for it. And I said, so you're telling him to go for it, but you're not yourself. She was like, oh my God, right? Like what kids learn from is what they see. What they see you do, not necessarily what you say. So what you have to do with guilt or any of these emotions is you have to ask yourself, what is true? It all comes down to what's true. And so anytime there's an event like, I want to do that webinar, but I'll feel guilty taking the hour and a half, right? Oh, it's bedtime and I really should be there for bedtime and, I shouldn't, blah, blah, blah. So what happens is that you think that it's the webinar that's making you feel bad, but what it actually is there's a step in between the event and feeling bad. And that is the belief that you have about the event. And if you feel like it's wrong or you feel like it's selfish, that's then what leads to you feeling bad. So what you have to do is actually isolate that feeling, okay? Isolate that feeling and really get clear on the belief that you have about it. Because if you have the belief, I'm going to do this webinar and it's going to be awesome. First of all, I'm going to give grandma a chance to put the kids down and she's going to love it and they're going to love it. And I'm going to learn all this stuff and fill up, then I'm going to be taking better care of my kids, right? So like if you have that belief, you're like, woohoo, I'm taking an hour. That's awesome. It's all about the belief. And someone somewhere said that self-care is selfish and they were so wrong. Like I said earlier, it's other-ish, right? It's other-ish. So what this really comes down to is about fulfillment, right? So midlife for us, when I say take control of your life now, what it means is being on that quest, that curiosity about your own identity. Who are you? What do you need in life? What lights you up? What fills you with joy? What makes you inspired? What makes you interested? In fact, this is an exercise that I love. Fill in the following sentences. I am inspired by. Go ahead, just I'm inspired by. Who inspires you? Or what inspires you? I'm inspired by. And then I want you to look at whatever you wrote and ask yourself why. What is it about this person that is so inspiring? Or what is it about this event or this circumstance that's so inspiring? I recently heard of a woman who lives near me that when she woke up one morning, there was a swastika painted on her, a Jewish woman, a swastika painted on her trash can. And she was, of course, horrified and scared, and she called the police. And then she called a friend who said, love outwins hate. And I know you, and you are a loving person. So I bet you can make something awesome out of this. And she happens to be an artist. And so what she did is she painted her trash can. She painted over the swastika, and she made this beautiful flower, yellows and oranges and purple detail. And then she wrote a letter and put it in the mailbox of all of her neighbors and told them what happened. And said, in solidarity, would you paint your did I say mailbox? I meant garbage can, I'm sorry. Would you paint your garbage can with me? And then she went away actually to a craft fair, and when she came back, and she was getting now all these emails, and then it started spreading virally, and people from Germany and Canada all over were emailing her, and on Facebook, that they all had painted their trash cans with beautiful art. And that's so inspiring to me. And so what is it about that that's inspiring? It's someone who took a challenge, like a negative event, and turned it into a positive, not just for herself, but as a way to inspire other people. And I find that so inspiring. And so what that tells me is, oh, I want to do more of that. And I was like, oh, I want to start do something like that, some sort of movement. What could that look like for me? So I love that exercise. I'm inspired by. Or how about this one? I'm interested in. Like, what topics interest you? What are some of the things that interest you that you want to learn more about? There's simple little things simple sentences that you can start to get to know yourself. And that's what this is really about, because I actually believe that you know yourself a heck of a lot better than you probably give yourself credit for. I really believe that you know yourself better than you give yourself credit for. So why don't you take another moment, sit back, and I just want to ask you a question. I'm going to say another sentence and I want you to fill in this blank. If you really, really, really knew me, if you really knew me, you would know that what my heart and soul desire is. If you really knew me, you would know that what my heart and soul desire is. And what comes up for you? Not in your mind, but in your heart, in your soul. What comes up for you? Maybe for you it's peace. Maybe for you it's joy. Maybe for you it's purpose. Maybe for you it's a dream, like, taking a painting class or going back to gymnastics, feeling like a kid again. Maybe for you it's freedom. It's funny, most of us don't say another mani-pedi, right? Or the Botox or a fancier apartment. What we really desire in our heart and our soul is something deeper. When I was younger, I asked myself this question, and I used to say, I don't know, right? It was like in my 20s and in my 30s, I don't know. But in my 20s, I allowed myself to get quiet, really quiet, and to hear my yearnings inside. And I knew the answer. The answer was to publish a book. And I went to college. So when I went to college, I took a creative writing course, and I was electrified. Oh my God. Like, I loved it. I loved poetry. I loved short story writing. I loved everything about creative writing. I just loved it. So I told my dad, right, I'm in college, and I told my dad I'm going to major in creative writing. Big mistake. Big mistake. I love you, Dad. But he was like, you are never going to make money at that. No way. So of course my shoulders slumped and I felt terrible. And I did not major in creative writing. And then I went to my 10-year high school reunion. And one of my friends was there, and it turns out she was living in New York City, and she was writing for a national magazine, and I was so jealous. I'm like, why does she get to write for a magazine? Why does she get to, right? Does anyone else ever get jealous? Right? Why does she get to travel the world? Why does she get to go to Paris? Why does she get to quit her job and start a business? Around my friend, I felt like such a freaking loser. So I told a friend of mine this story, and this friend said, so be a writer now. And I was like, oh, I can't do that, right? This is years ago. I'm like, I can't. And she said, why not? And I said, because I am so busy in my job, and, I can't quit, and I've got a mortgage to pay, and I don't even know what I would do anyway, right? I don't know what I would write anyway. So I want to ask you, with the thing that you said inspires you, or with the thing that you said that you really, really, really desire in your heart and in your soul, what is holding you back? What's really holding you back from having it? Or from at least trying it, or at least taking one little teeny weeny step toward it? What's holding you back? So when I think about me and writing that book years ago, I told her that it was work and I didn't have time. But in reality, it wasn't work. And it wasn't time or lack of knowledge about what I would write. Like, I could figure all that out. It was fear. Fear of rejection. Fear of failure. Fear that my dad was right, that I could never make money at it. Fear. Fear that I wouldn't be good enough. Shame that I hadn't done it yet. In reality, like, I need to write because I love to write. Whether or not anyone ever reads it actually means nothing, right? It's like, I need to do it because I need to do it. But that's what we do with the things that are really meaningful to us, really purposeful to us. If someone somewhere told you that you can't do something or you couldn't make money at it, you suddenly become small. You give it up. And I know you know that feeling because we all do. And then you carry that into being, whether it's your third life, your midlife, whatever it is. And now you're just so used to saying no to your heart, no to your heart, no to your heart. And look at my shoulders, they slump. And every time you say no, you become smaller and smaller, and it feels like you're like squashing your dreams, squashing your heart. until you just kind of forget what your dreams were, what it is that's in your heart. So what's really holding you back? For me, I'm going to admit it, it wasn't work and it wasn't time. What is really holding you back? For me, it was fear of rejection, fear of not being good enough. I want you to write that down now. For me, it was shame. What is really holding you back? Be honest with yourself. Because usually it will be some sort of fear or guilt or shame, and all of those keep you small and lead to the depression we're talking about. So instead, we blame time or kids or our spouses or partners, but it's all internal, right? And that's when we end up depressed and hopeless. In fact, there's something called learned helplessness, which is when you have tried and tried and tried something and you keep getting defeated, you learn to be helpless, and then you give up. But if you've lost hope, you've lost everything, and that's when you feel stuck. That's when you feel stuck. So our job now is for you to take control of your life and you to reignite that hope again. That hope that I don't care how old you are, if you're 60 or 52 or 45 or 35, you can have hope right now because tomorrow is a new day. Today is a new day. Because remember, again, if you're depressed or you're depleted, you are no good to anyone, no good to your colleagues, no good to your kids, no good to your spouse. You've got to prioritize your happiness first. And if you're living in that fear of rejection, fear of failure, your kids feel it and they get it from you. So instead of saying no, 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 no to yourself, when you hear something or feel something, like I was talking about the woman who came to Paris, you have to say yes, yes, yes to your heart. If you feel like I need an hour in the park, the answer is yes. If you feel like I want to get on that webinar, the answer is yes. Yes. And the more you say yes to your heart, the bigger you feel and the better you feel. And that, right? It's like, yes, yes, yes. And I'm not saying all this is easy to do. Like, yes, you have responsibilities. I'm not telling you don't go quit your job tomorrow and don't like run away and off to another country away from your kids. Like, you have responsibilities. Yes. It's not yes or no. It's yes, how can I? Like, we're so used to saying, no, I can't. The answer now is yes, how can I? How can I? How can I? How can I? And that you begin getting your brain figuring out. Because hope, what research shows, hope is actually the great igniter of your goals, of your dreams. Hope tells your mind, when you're hopeful that something's going to happen, your brain begins thinking of how can you make it happen? What are the strategies? What are the pathways? But you have to begin with that hope. And that hope, actually, the number one thing that I said I was going to give you tools. Number one, what you must do is you must give yourself the gift of commitment to yourself. You must commit now. You must commit now, because once you commit to yourself, you can turn that fear of rejection. Like I was reading Liz Gilbert's book, Big Magic, and she said for every rejection letter early in her career, I mean, for years, she was just rejected, rejected, rejected. She wasn't eat, pray, love from the start, right? Rejection letter. She said every time she got a rejection letter, it was like ping pong. She got one rejection letter in, she sent one query out. One rejection letter in, one query out. Or there's a video I love of Michael Jordan that says that he has lost, I don't even know how many, he's lost dozens and dozens and dozens of basketball games. He says 26 times he has been counted on to make the game-winning shot, and he failed. But it's because, and he lists all of his failures in this video, but it's because of all those failures that he wins, that he succeeds. So we've got to start looking at and saying every time we have a fear of rejection, flip that into an opportunity for success, an opportunity to try, an opportunity to go for it. And if you fail, right, so now you might feel shame, I failed. And then what you need to do is you turn it around, you say, I'm going to use that experience of shame, which is really just feeling like I'm not good enough, and show myself that I am. Because it's not about if everyone else hears my piano recital, it's that I'm playing piano. So you reframe. That's how you turn guilt and shame and fear. You reframe. You will not let fear hold you back. You will not let shame hold you back. Right? I told you guys that I was divorced. I got married and divorced at a really young age, and I used to feel so ashamed of being divorced. Until one day it occurred to me that to do this work in the world with so many women, my divorce actually helps me because I can understand that pain. It helps me help other women break free of a marriage that's not fitting you, or helps you to understand how to actually be happy with yourself, which could allow you to stay in the marriage. Like, my experience actually helps me in this purpose. So you reframe it. You reframe it. Every story can end differently. It's all in how you tell it. So I promised you I was going to give you a few tools. And the number one tool is that you commit to yourself, right? It's crazy to me. We make vows to partners, right? We say to a partner or to a potential partner that I vow to love and cherish and honor you, and I vow to uphold your dreams. And we don't make that same vow to ourselves, right? Like, actually, 2 weeks before I got married the second time, I went to the site where he and I were going to be married by myself, and I sat down on the ground right at the spot where we were going to be married 2 weeks later, and I wrote vows to myself. And I wrote, I vow to uphold my dreams no matter what. I vow to follow my heart and soul desires no matter what. I vow to love myself first and love myself more. And I shared this on international radio on Sirius XM. And one woman wrote in or called in or something and said, I was such a bitch. She said, I feel bad for her husband, her future husband. But for the most part, everyone else was like, heck yeah, I wish I had done that, or I need to do it now. And I'm telling you right now, you can do it now. Because I say to my husband, I want you to love yourself more. I want you to have dreams. I want you to commit to yourself and your own growth. It's so important. So I want you to make a vow to yourself right now. Maybe that vow is to get to know your own heart, or to get to know your own soul, or to fulfill that dream that came up for you, or just to overcome the fear, or to spend more time on self-growth, or who knows what. But whatever that vow is for you, I want you to make it right now, because that vow is the guiding light to your path forward. Because then you can always look at what you're doing and not, oh, should I go take that hour for myself or not? Look at it against your vow. And that will always tell you. So make a vow to yourself now. That's my first tool for you. And I want you to write it down. I'm big on sticky notes. Write it down, put it up in your house, put it on your computer, make it your screensaver, make it an alarm on your clock. Number two tool, you must connect with other women. Like, this is not optional anymore, okay? You need to know that you are not alone. Right? 300 women signed up for this call to either come live or get the recording. Like, you're not alone. And women need close girlfriends. You need close girlfriends who you can be honest with and share, and who can cheerlead you, and who can support you, and who can say, you can do it, I see you, I believe in you. Connect with other women. So you need a sisterhood. So whether that sisterhood is something that you do, you get a group of women in your neighborhood together, or you find a group online, or you go on a retreat, like, you absolutely have to have that. It has been critical for my life. It's critical for everyone I know. Like, my Empowered program last year, these women became so close in just the 4 months, because we do a retreat at the beginning and a retreat at the end, and then every other week in between there's a big group call, and they became so close. They share with each other things that they don't tell their closest friends, because it's safer in a way. And they're so close. The program has been over since April. They are all getting together again in a few months. So you must have a sisterhood. Must have a sisterhood. And then the third tool I want to leave you with is that every dream begins with one step. And that what I want you to do is, whatever it was that you said your heart and soul really desires, or whatever your vow was, I want you to peel it all the way back to one step. And I'll give you an example, like with writing the book. One step was just opening my computer. Yes, I did it, okay? Or one step was free writing 1 page. Yes, I did it. Because your brain actually loves celebration, and your brain only thinks in small increments. But what happens is that we have these goals that seem huge, right? Like, my dream, has always been like to be Oprah, or to be like Oprah, to be Karen, but to inspire and empower that many people. Well, it's so big. It was so big, it kept me paralyzed for a long time, right? I call it like the Oprah complex. It was so big. So I didn't know what to do. Our brains actually were designed to think in small, small, small steps. So you want to come down to one simple step. And then when you take that one step, like let's say a client of mine, she has always loved the piano, loved the piano, loved the piano. And so I said, well, how about, learning piano? Oh, I can't, I'm too old, right? So she recently got a piano, and it was like, before she even took a lesson, yes, you got a piano, yes. And before that, she had to make a phone call to get a piano, yes. Your brain loves small steps and it loves celebration. So I want you to take one step. So commit, find a sisterhood, and take one step. And I want you to write it down in your calendar now. So if that's, you're going to, next Thursday, you're going to look up on Craigslist to get a piano, or next Friday, you're going to spend an hour looking for a yoga class, like whatever it is, one step that you can take right now. Write it in your calendar book. And I want to offer you ways to continue to expand. I was going to tell all of you more about the Empowered program, which I said it's a mentorship. I do it every year from January through April, and it is a deep soul journey to your truth, so that you can finally uncover your purpose, so that you can finally get to the core of who you are and become confident in yourself and become fulfilled in life and soar. Like, that program is, it's so deep and it's so connected. Like I said, we have a retreat at the beginning and a retreat at the end, and every other week there is a group call, and then on the off weeks I do Q&A calls that are optional. And then you get like an 18-page workbook every other week that helps you just open and open. And the first month is all about, who are you at your core? Like, where is your joy? Who are you? We peel back those old layers and we get to that core. And then the second month is all dedicated to, how are you nurtured? Like, what are the old stories that you learned? Like, that you should be a certain kind of mom, or you should be a certain kind of woman, or you should be small, or you should, whatever those are. And we bring them to the surface so that you can, in month 3, make new choices and say, which ones of these, right? During that process of month 2, you're like, that is no longer true for me, or that's not how I want to live my life. So that in month 3, you make choices and you're like, what do I want to choose in my life? I want to choose piano, or I want to choose to learn a new craft, or I want to choose, whatever it might be. I want to choose only healthy relationships. And you make a full set of vows to yourself. And then in month 4, it's all about change and learning how to actually set goals and how to achieve goals using the science. So all this, relies on my expertise in positive psychology, the science of human flourishing, and my deep, 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 deep love of the divine feminine. So it's really doing this in a feminine power kind of way. So doing this F Midlife call, that's what I was going to tell everyone, but that program is only open to 15 women, and several of the slots are already taken. I do have some slots for those of you who are interested. You should email me, Karen@KarenRockheim.com. So I was going to talk to you guys about that program, but I had so much more response for this call that I was like, I need something that I can offer to the masses. I can only take 15 women in that other program. So what can I do for more people, right? What can I do for more? And I had no idea how many people would sign up for this call, and I want to serve all of you with something amazing. So I was like racking my brain, and then I was asking God, what can I do? I want to serve these women. I want to do something, and I want to do something that is, adds a lot of value, that gives you a lot of growth, and that's affordable, right? And all of a sudden, like in the middle of the night, it hit me that what we all really need is a sisterhood, and we need help and support from experts in how to define what health is, what midlife is going to look like for us, and what health it looks like for us, what sexiness looks like for us, what purpose looks like for us, what self-love looks like for us. And so it suddenly came to me to create a sisterhood, a monthly membership called the F Midlife Club. So I'm super excited, so excited to introduce this to all of you. Introducing the F Midlife Club. This is the sisterhood to dump all those old midlife stereotypes and create a new image of what you want midlife to look like. What you want midlife to look like, what you want midlife to feel like, and what you want it to act like. And it's a membership, and the membership has, like I said, a monthly membership, and every month we're going to be doing a 90-minute group coaching call. So similar to this, where every month there's going to be a topic and I'm going to talk about that topic. And then with it, I'm going to be bringing in experts, and I'm so excited. So I reached out to my favorite experts, like those of you who listen to Wake Up with Taylor. I reached out to Dr. Wider, and she's going to be my health expert. And I reached out to a health coach on nutrition, and I reached out to a self-love expert who teaches self-love to women all over the world. I reached out to a sex expert to help us like get into our sexiness. So every month I'm going to have a different expert that's going to help me. I'm going to, talk like this. And then I'm going to have the expert on the call for all of you. So that's every month, this 90-minute group coaching call with me and an expert. And then also every other month, we're going to be doing book club. So I have all these books, empowerment books that I love reading. So whether, it's a book that's empowering you to go live a dream, or it's a book on self-compassion, or it's a book on positivity. So every other month, we're going to be doing a book club. Where you read the book with me and then we talk about it. And also every month related to the theme, you're going to get journal prompts so that you have actual more to kind of write about in your journal and think about. And then of course there's going to be a sisterhood, right? Because that's so important to this. So I'm building a community for everyone who signs up for the F Midlife Club, if you're in the membership, where you will have access to a private Facebook page where I'll come on, I'll post, whether I post questions or videos, as well as things about the books that we're reading, as well as for you guys to post, hey, I am not happy in my marriage, I need some support around it, or hey, I'm gonna go ask for that big promotion, and you want like other women to say, you can do it, so that's what that is all about. As well as, challenges that you have in life, you can post about that. I'm gonna be doing Midlife swag. This is our club, so this is like a swag of a shirt and a mug. Like, I'm a huge fan. You have to actually have things in front of you that keep what you want in front of you. And then everyone who signs up for the club, you get 10% off of the Empowered program. So the way that the club works is I knew I needed something, right, that I could serve more people, I could serve more of you, and that it would be affordable. So the monthly membership, it's a monthly membership, and you sign up for at least a 6-month commitment, and then thereafter you can drop off, but I don't know why anyone would want to drop off. And I knew I needed, like, you get all of that, right? And I knew I needed to do something, and my commitment was to make it affordable for everyone, because I know a lot of you want to do individual coaching, and I know that individual coaching feels like it's out of the price range for a lot of people. So I knew I needed to create something that was affordable for everyone. And I knew I wanted to create an army, like an army of women who were going to say, F you midlife, right? Just F you. And so I needed a price, right? Because I want us all to say this. Like, I want to work myself out of a job. So I needed a price that everyone could say yes to. So I thought, okay, what do women currently spend some of that disposable income on every month? And I was like, all right, a mani-pedi, right? And I love mani-pedis like the next girl. Or that pair of shoes, the discount shoes at DSW. So, or a dinner out. Like, and what do all those cost? And so the average, I based the monthly cost of this membership on that. And so I'm super, super, super excited to bring you all of this value for only $49 a month. So super excited. So you will get the 90-minute call with me, and of course an expert, the home practice of journal prompts. You'll get the book club and talking about the book, the community sisterhood, the F Midlife swag, the t-shirt and the mug, plus 10% off Empowered there'll be some of you who want to do that program as well. So 10% off of that. And of course, after 6 months, it pays for itself in terms of percent off that program. So you get all of that every month, and it's a way to still get mentorship from me and still get support, and for us to do it together. So you get all of that for only $49 a month. So I'm super excited, super, super, super excited, and I hope that you join me. I hope you join me. We've already had a bunch of women say yes to themselves and join this club, and we're building a very strong membership, and it's going to be amazing. And we begin officially October 20th. But of course, you can join thereafter. So I'm super excited, and I hope you all join. So the way you join is you go to fmidlifeclub.com, fmidlifeclub.com, and you can register right there, and it's really easy. You just go ahead and you put your name and email and address and credit card in, and it goes from there. So any questions that you have, any questions you have about the F Midlife Club, any questions that you have about anything we've talked about, please email me, Karen@KarenRockkind.com, Karen@KarenRockkind.com, and I will answer any questions that you have. And so what I'll say for now is, it has been such a pleasure to be on this call with you. May this be your year where you can always look back and say, I chose me. I chose to take control of my life and to be the best me I could possibly be. May this be a year where you feel vibrant and you feel alive and you feel healthy. May this be a year where you feel really good about who you are and the choices that you make. I hope you have a beautiful, beautiful day, a beautiful night, a beautiful year. I hope you join the F Midlife Club. Or for those of you who are ready for the really deep mentorship and coaching with me more kind of on the in the group, but also with me individually, then please go to purposegirl.com and you'll see the Empowered program right on the front page. And I would love to have you in that as well. So I hope that you join one of the sisterhoods, and I hope I can serve you in the future with so much love. Bye for now.